Yo, just got back from Ocean City. I was on a little golf trip with my pops, but Lauren's at work and I figure I'm gonna jump right into doing a little closet project that we had planned before I come back down here and start doing baseboard and trim. My parents will be moving in within the next couple weeks. We wanna make sure that we have a spot so we can get like my bureau out of their room. So right now it's sitting plaster and lath. It's a mess and I wanna get sheetrock up there. So let's get going. All right, quickly got changed. And you know what's great about this is Lauren didn't expect me to get home till tonight because we were supposed to play a third round today, but the weather was so bad, so we had to cancel. So first step on get this job done before Lauren gets home, we gotta clear out all these clothes. Our room's kind of a mess, mostly my stuff, sorry Lauren. So my first problem here is that there is a shelf that's existing up here. And we want to do a closet organizer because we don't really have enough room in here to have multiple bureaus. So we want to be able to put some shelves in here so we can fold clothes and put them on there. Problem is that this is plaster and lath. So as I start to pull this down, it's just gonna crumble apart. You guys can see it's already cracking pretty badly. And then up in that corner, you can see that there's some old water damage, probably from the roof. There's a valley kind of right here. So this is some old water damage. So instead of making a big mess in here and pulling down all this plaster, I'm going to just slap some sheetrock up. So let's get started pulling down this existing shelf. As I start on this closet, I wanted to share with you guys a little thing that, you know, Lauren and I will start doing when we dive into the renovation next door, but when you start thinking of cost savings, we had to have this house empty of all of the previous belongings of the previous tenant that they left. Lauren and I are not going to pay contractor rate to empty garbage out of a house. It's like getting the job site set up for the most expensive person to come in and they could focus just on that thing. So we paid some guys on the side to come and take care of all that. We were able to pay them a fair rate, but it's not a contractor's rate to clear that house out. And we did go with the contractor. We'll share their info and what the scope of work and budget breakdown looks like in a different segment. And I bet you guys are wondering why I'm demoing with a tiny pry bar. And I'm wondering the same thing because I can't find the two large ones that I own. I'm a mess. What do we think? Do we think if I hang on this, it'll fall out of the wall? Almost. See if I can just yank it out. Fail. Oh, that's terrible. And this is why we're sheetrocking right over top of it. Now granted, I was not careful, but yeah, there's no getting around cracking and breaking it apart. And the reason why you can't really just fix, you know, things like this crack right here, that's either from settling. Most of the time the plaster walls, you'll get that with settling. You can't just spackle over that, because what's gonna happen is that crack's gonna reform. So what you actually have to do is you have to drill in a couple spots on both sides, re-screw it in, and then plaster over it. Now this is a hidden closet. If this was like a living room or somewhere in a living area and I wasn't sheetrocking the whole thing, I can get around doing it that way. I'm just sheetrocking over it, much easier. So let's get cutting. So Lauren showed back up at home because her work got kind of rained out. so she ruined the surprise.
We wasted the good surprise on you.
All right.
But we've got rock hung on the back wall, left wall, and I just did the right wall. So what I actually did with this right wall was, instead of scoring the front side that you see, I actually scored the back side. So when I folded this piece, there's just a little tiny crease there. You can barely see it, and I think that some paint will cover it up, but I'll do a skim over top. But now I don't have torn paper on this side, so I think that was a better idea to get this piece to fit inside this space. So I got it all hung, but I ran out of sheetrock, and I got to do the ceiling because we got some messy stuff over there. So it's raining, and I got to get another sheet of sheetrock, so I think we're going to call it for today and get this bedroom back in order. What are you eating over there?
Apple Jacks.
So we will see you guys tomorrow.
We're continuing the closet organizer project. We went to Home Depot to get another piece of sheetrock, and I saw fall things. So we may or may not have spent more money on fall decor than we did on home renovation things.
Is shop creep a thing?
Yeah, and then we may or may not have went to Target. So it's Sunday though, and the Ryder Cup is on.
Yes, so we are definitely taking it slow and easy, but still moving forward.
Let's do it. We also got a new rug for the living room. Not sure if I'm sold on it yet, but let's see. Excuse me. Watch out, buddy.
Ooh, that's gonna look good. Needs a good vacuuming.
It definitely needs a good vacuuming. I feel like it's a little small.
I don't think so.
Buddy. Here. Get off.
Bro, come here.
It's supposed to go underneath
Come here, bud.
the...
I don't think it really is supposed to, though. Like, I don't think it's supposed to really. Bodie, come on, bud. Come on.
Ah,
Oh my god, he's testing it out.
Ballet rubs.
All right, buddy, come here. Come on. Good boy. Yeah, just like that.
I think it's too small.
I wouldn't have it any bigger.
It's too small, baby.
Which direction do you think it needs to go more?
Always.
Really? I don't. Because then, if the carpet's under it, now it's going to be lifted up in the front and not in the back.
From a design standpoint, I think the carpet is supposed to be bigger. Drop a comment below, let us know.
Because I like that you could see the flooring underneath the couch.
It's not necessarily what you like, it's what basic design is.
Yeah, but who is the person that says? You know what I mean? Beauty is in the eye of the homeowner.
Okay, so we discussed off camera, we think we need the bigger one. The bigger one's out of stock. So we're gonna return this one and kind of like back to the drawing board.
And I'm back to the drawing board because I have some more sheetrock, so we're gonna get that closet finished up and then tape us back up. And then we gotta wait. So I got the ceiling sheet up, and as you can tell, these walls are super crooked, so I needed to do a little convincing. So I'll just batch that in, and it's really not a big deal. And I also cut myself, and I bled on the walls, so I guess it wouldn't really be true work if I wasn't bleeding or something. So.
And while Kyle does that, I'm gonna share with you how we handle property repairs and maintenance. A few weeks ago, we mentioned that September has been a busy month for repair issues for our properties, and you guys wanted the deets, so I'm here to share them. So I'm gonna dive into what this month looks like with regard to those requests, and how much money we spent, and how we handled those requests and delegated the work. So let's start from the beginning. A tenant has a maintenance request. What happens? Now, we currently don't coordinate maintenance issues via our property management software. We would love to do this, to be honest, but our current platform and a lot of the platforms I've been looking into just don't offer two-way communication connected to the repair. And what I mean by that is if a tenant submits a maintenance request through the platform and writes, let's just say like leaky faucet, I can't message back and clarify if they're talking about the leaky faucet in the bathroom or a leaky faucet in the kitchen. So then I just have to go outside the platform anyway and email or text them and have a conversation, and that's just not really ideal. So for now, the tenants just text me, and that's just been working fine. So I receive a text that a faucet is leaking, and I'll usually message back asking for more details and then a photo or a video of the problem. And then if the problem's small enough, I may try to go back and offer some troubleshooting options if appropriate, but if not, then I just move on to the next task, which is I delegate it. So depending on the repair and the severity of it, I have a few options. We can either send a specific tradesman or sub, like a plumber or a roofer, or we can dispatch through a maintenance company. If it's a sub-specific fix, I'll actually reach out to Kyle, who has a better relationship with these individuals, and he handles the repair. If it's something smaller or perhaps something that's just not so severe, I'll send the request to a maintenance company. And when I say maintenance company, I'm referring to two companies that we work with that handle property preservation and maintenance around the area where we have some of our properties. And they have a large team of handyman, of subcontractors, and they coordinate the repairs, which is really nice. So if I go that route, I just send an email to their maintenance coordinator with a scope of work that we want done and any details on the materials that we want used. We share the tenant's address. Bye, Bodie. And we share the tenant's contact information and any additional notes that we think is going to be helpful. The coordinator then dispatches a technician, and they actually are the ones who contact the tenant directly to schedule the repair. So it's really nice because now I'm not playing middleman back and forth. And then about a week later, I get set photos of completion and an invoice. And so that has been working out really nicely. But with all that being said, there are some times where Kyle or I will come out of maintenance retirement. So for example, we had a tenant have a major water leak in their ceiling, and we just couldn't get anyone out there for a day or two. So we went over at 7 p.m. on a Monday night, and we're just really glad we did because this sheetrock was so soaked with water, it actually started to pull away from the studs in the ceiling, and it was like hours away from just completely falling all over the tenant's bed and just like drenching it with water. So fortunately, we were able to be there and temporarily secure the sheetrock with some scrap wood, and all was well until the maintenance company could get someone out to take care of it. So now that that process is out of the way of like how we actually handle it, let's talk about what this month looked like. So we actually use Stessa for bookkeeping, and I absolutely love it. I used to manually enter in every receipt when we were renovating our first duplex, and it took forever. So if you're still doing that, I highly recommend Stessa. It is free. It's been life-changing. So I'm gonna give you a little tour. All right, so basically if you go to your dashboard, this is what it looks like. It shows you what your total portfolio value looks like, what return you're getting on your portfolio, occupancy, income, debt, how many properties you have, how many units you have rented, and how much cash flow you're making per month. It's really nice, just like overall way to look at how your portfolio is performing at any given time. But more specifically to repairs and maintenance, if you go to transactions, this is where it gets pretty awesome. One of the really cool things about Stessa is that you can hook up your bank accounts and your credit and debit cards directly to the platform. And so we have separate checking accounts and separate credit cards specific for real estate. And so those are the only ones we have connected to Stessa. So anytime we have a transaction, it just automatically shows up in our dashboard. So if you come to transactions, it has the date that the transaction took place, a description. This usually auto-populates with like the company name and stuff like that, category in which it's in, and you could change all this. So if it pre-populates wrong, you could always change it. the property you're going to assign it to, the amount, and then how it was paid for. So if it was paid by a credit card or a checking account. So this has been great. Now, I'm not going to show you all the expenses within Stessa just because there's a lot of like personal information in here. So I did export the report and change some of the identifying information, but at least you'll be able to see it. So you can see here that on September 1st, we got a call that one of the properties was having some issue with mice. So we sent out a pest control company and we did a 90-day sort of contract with them where they came and treated the place originally, and then any mice or pests that they find within the first 90 days is included and they'll keep coming back out. So that was $308. Now, a lot of people put in their leases, and we have this too, that after the first maybe couple months or so, pests will be the responsible of the tenant. And that is usually the case, but mice in this area find their way inside normally because of exterior property defects and not necessarily because of interior lack of cleanliness, if that makes sense. So usually for mice, we'll financially take care of it because. Then if you scroll up on September 5th, we had a call for, we had a leaky trim kit. So the shower was constantly leaking. And also this was in a multifamily property, and another tenant also had a plumbing leak. Neither one of them were emergencies, so we were able to schedule a technician to go out on the same day. They actually couldn't diagnose the issue. So this $65.50 is just their fee for going out and checking, and I'm actually gonna have to go dispatch a plumber. I know what they didn't see, and so we're just gonna send a plumber. And that was through the maintenance company. On September 14th, this was the leaky water issue that I just mentioned previously that Kyle and I went over there at night. This water issue was actually caused by the tenant. So while we coordinated it and took care of the repair and paid for it up front, as per their lease, we were billing it back to them via like our rent collection platform, and so they'll be financially responsible for that and paying us back. So that was $425. It was a lot. It was a big repair. Then on that same week, one of our tenants had a leaky ceiling as well. This one was actually due to heavy rain that we had. So there's two parts of this. One, we had to physically repair the roof where the leak was coming from, and the other part was repairing the interior damage. So this first line item is repairing the internal damage for $82.50, and the one above it was to actually repair the roof. So funny story about this roof, and this could be a good lesson for you guys. We bought this property, we did a completely new roof. I am embarrassed to say that instead of going with a trusted roofing company that we've used in the past that is a little expensive, we went with a cheaper, more affordable option, and they did not do a great job. Hence this roof leak. So we did have the more professional roofing company that we use now come out and fix it, and it's fine moving forward, but we definitely learned our lesson to just go with the better company, especially when it comes to roofs and things like that, and instead of trying to save a couple bucks. So if we just got the new roof from the original company, we would never had this repair. So that roof repair was $375. And then if we go up, so one of our properties was up for their annual inspection. So basically the town comes out and they inspect the exterior and the interior, and then they basically fail you for some violations, and you have to get them fixed within like 30 or 60 days. So this property had a few exterior fixes that we had to make, and they sent us a nice little list, and we called the first maintenance company to see if they could take care of the whole list. So I typed up everything, gave them all the information, shared with them all the photos, and they explained to us that they were actually too busy. They just had a lot of other work going on, and they would not be able to get to these tasks in time. So I'm not gonna lie, I got a little nervous because at first, this was like the only maintenance company we were working with. So I reached out to some local investors in the area and asked people for some recommendations, and somebody recommended this other maintenance company, if you will, and it was great. We worked with them. We sent them a list of all the repairs. They coordinated all of the different subs that were needed for those repairs because it was landscaping, it was electrical, it was siding. And so they handled everything and they got it done very quickly. So that was awesome. So that was $438, and then they came back and took care of some other stuff, and that was $310. So that was the majority of our maintenance and repair requests for September. We did have some CapEx items that we were taking care of, but we planned for those. Like we had to get some of our flat roofs silver coated, and we did a new porch on one of our properties, but those were larger CapEx items that I'm not going to include here. Our grand total was $2,006.15. And if we take away the $425 that we're billing back to the tenant, we spent $1,581.15 this month in maintenance and repairs. So this is why you account for repairs and maintenance and CapEx when you're analyzing properties. Now, not every month like this. This was by far an abnormal month. We go months at a time and not have a single repair. And we don't just like go ball with that extra money that we make that month. We set it aside and put in reserves so that we have a month like this, we can financially take care of all of it. Now, I also do want to point out, if you look at this chart, out of the 7 repair requests, 5 of them were for Marky Mark, which if you guys watched our videos in the past, you know was a property that we acquired last year and we inherited tenants. And so we never fully renovated this property. Normally, Kyle and I try to renovate properties as nicely as we can prior to placing a tenant and replacing a lot of CapEx items and being very proactive with our maintenance so that we don't have a lot of maintenance repairs and requests. And so I think this is just a great example of how our most problem property, if you will, is the one that we just never renovated. And the other ones, I mean, one was due to rain, which admittedly we went with a cheaper roofer, and the other one was just, you know, an anomaly, whatever. So lessons learned here, don't always go with the cheapest tradesman. Have at least 2, if not more, subs or handyman or maintenance companies that you could reach out to. It's always good to have multiple connections. And 3, take care of your future self and really try to be proactive when you are doing your renovations to replace old CapEx items, maybe like appliances or faucets or roofs, to really decrease the amount of issues you're gonna have in the future. So that's it for me on this right now. If you guys have any questions, drop them below in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. But let's get back to Kyle. Now imagine doing the entire house in sheetrock.
Like if I didn't have to like work quickly, I find this like very relaxing. But people would be like, bro, you're taking way too long.
But it's just a closet. Imagine doing 2,000 square feet.
Oh yeah, that would be terrible. That'd be terrible. I'm like not like great at it. I can do enough to like get by, but I'm not very good.
So the fact that it's going to be hidden behind clothes in a closet is like perfect.
Yeah, it's like maybe that's even more like relaxing to me. Knowing that my work isn't going to be seen. Especially something that I'm not like super confident and like comfortable with, like spackling.
Kyle.
This isn't really my wet one, so don't worry. Kyle. Well, we done. Other than that little mishap, I almost just did it again. We done.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Why are you still wearing your sunglasses?
They are filthy. I actually didn't realize I was wearing them.
Because it's 8:25.
And it's dark out. Quick skim coat tomorrow. Paint the following day. And then closet organizer. I'm kind of excited because I'm like, clothes are kind of everywhere. If I wasn't super embarrassed, I would show you the pile that's happening about right here. But they're gonna go in here. So I'm excited to like have a spot, have some space. So, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.